Welcome to episode 3 of this Tycoon series. In this episode I'm going to show you how you can make the purchase buttons. And since the last episode, the 1.21 update released, which led to me making some minor changes to the data pack which will be made available to you. At the end of the last episode we had 2 droppers, a conveyor, the collector and the ATM. But at the end of this video you're gonna know how you can expand your Tycoon using purchase buttons. One thing you might have noticed is that I have some new spawn eggs in my hotbar, and these spawn eggs will make it easier to place and remove the buttons. Looking at the load function you can see that I added some new scores. The first score I added is called purchase values, the next one is called purchase handler values, and the last one is called purchase item values. I also added these 3 lines of code. This line runs the dev load function, which is a load function that is only required for the development of the Tycoon. This line kills every marker and every armor stand, and finally this line places a safe structure. The structure in question is called 800 NBT and looks like this, and this structure is used to reset the Tycoon. Moving on to the loop function, we can see that I added these 2 new lines, which execute the functions purchase loop and dev loop. And that were all the changes in the loop function. Now we're taking a look at the dev folder, starting off by looking at the load function. As you can see, I moved the commands that give you the spawn eggs into this function. I also combined all the clear commands into one clear command. In the spawn egg section I added these new spawn eggs. The function also adds a new score called spawn settings, but before adding the score it removes the score. After that 6 scores are added to the scoreboard and set to 0. The scores are called struct, level, drops, block, item and ID. The function also adds 2 storages used for macros, one called spawn egg settings and the other one called purchase settings. Moving on to dev loop. Okay, hang in there, it's not as complicated as it seems. The first 5 lines make up the dropper remover logic. The dropper remover, however, doesn't only remove droppers but also purchase buttons and item placers. This next chunk of code controls the confirm settings spawn egg. When spawning in, the buttons and droppers can be easily modified. After applying the confirm settings spawn egg, however, the settings are locked in and you can't change them as easily. This next block of code controls the edit settings spawn egg. After applying the edit settings spawn egg, you can easily change the settings of the purchase buttons and the dropper. These 3 lines make the buttons and droppers in edit mode easily recognizable. These 6 lines set the values in the spawn egg settings storage to the 6 scores in the spawn settings scoreboard, and these 2 lines run the functions spawn eggs edit purchase handler with the purchase settings storage and spawn eggs spawn with the spawn egg settings storage. The spawn eggs edit purchase handler function, as you can see, is made up of 4 macro commands. These 4 commands are used to summon and edit the purchase buttons. The spawn function doesn't spawn any entities, it only edits the data of existing entities. Okay, almost done. Now we're gonna look at the purchase folder starting with the loop function. These first 3 lines set the scores of the item placers and purchase buttons to values inside of their data tag. This next line runs the function purchase check as and at every purchase button if the button cooldown is not more than 1. These next 2 lines are executed as every purchase button and increase the button's cooldown if set cooldown has a value of more than 1 and set the button's cooldown to 0 if it exceeds 20. And the last 2 lines set the block at the button to red carpet if the cooldown is more than 1 and set the block to lime carpet if the cooldown is in fact not more than 1. The purchase check function is made up of 3 checks. The first check checks if there is a player closer than 1 block away and if the money score matches -1. And if the check was successful, it returns, meaning it doesn't execute the other checks, and executes the purchase function. The second check also checks if there's a player less than 1 block away, but instead of checking if the money score matches -1, it checks if the money score is equal to or more than the purchase button score in the purchase value scoreboard. And if this check was successful, it also runs the function purchase. And finally, the third check checks if there is a player and if the money score is less than the button score in the purchase value scoreboard, and if this check was successful, it runs the function purchase insufficient. The purchase function starts off by setting the carpet block to air and playing the custom sound purchase, which I added using the Resourcepack in the description. It then continues by adding the tag active button to the purchase button and running the function purchase item marker as every item placer with the placer's data tag if the placer's score in the scoreboard purchase item values is equal to the button score in the scoreboard purchase handler values. After executing this command, it removes the tag active button from the purchase button. This command removes the button score and the scoreboard purchase values from the money score if the money score is not -1. This command kills the purchase button's armor stat, and this command kills the purchase button's marker. The purchase item marker function is responsible for placing the structures, or if the structure value in the data tag is -1, placing a redstone block at the position of the item placer. And last but not least, the purchase insufficient function places the sound insufficient funds from my custom resource pack and sets the button's cooldown to 1. Alright, now that you know how the code works, I'm going to show you how you can set up an aforementioned purchase button. Firstly, you're going to place down a purchase handler. Then you're going to edit the purchase settings however you like. After changing the settings, you're going to use a confirm settings spawn egg. This will teleport the button 1 block down and summon the carpet. Then you're going to place the item marker. Instead of editing the storage directly though, you're going to edit the spawn settings scoreboard. The only two scores relevant for an item placer though in the spawn settings scoreboard are struct and ID. The struct score will be the name of the structure, and the ID score will be the same value as the purchase button's item value. After setting everything up, you're going to confirm the settings using the confirm settings spawn egg. I also forgot to mention, the item placer has to be in the northwest corner of where the structure is going to be. And now that everything is set up, we can go ahead and purchase the wall, after getting some money. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode, as it took far more time and effort than the other episodes. Please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you guys again in the next episode.